just bounce, just bounce, just bounce, just bounce, just bounce, just bounce, just look. Go, 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 let's go. Nine, let's go, let's go, let's go. Give me some doggy.
Odi in the church, come slow, take your time, you know my feet are shaking. Kuna band, kuna bash. If you really wanna dance, odi dance, power, simple dance you can manage. How
Shika nice hizi za Mungu cheki ziwa bebe mikono juu twende ndani jili na donjo yani hawa wanatitu wa bebe kwani rada yani okoka nao okoka nao tujinaife jobi bad Neve jo wasunde bash moja tena one uko bazenga cheki bebwe masungo deli cheki tuwalete injili inashika cheki okoka tu hizi za goda zina pressure buda kuja tu tukule doba jo injili tu anguka nayo ndiyo dance imeka kwa tu okoka nao wacha
Thank you very much.
I love it, DJ CST, our hype man, our dancers, thank you so much. Have you enjoyed your tea break? Are you feeling well fed? More energized? Now this morning we've had a powerful session. Tell your neighbor, powerful. You're already a certified genius if you follow what, you don't even need to do an IQ test, if you follow what you are taught in the morning. Because this morning we learned about the genius of surrender. And it is my absolute joy to welcome the father of our house, the man who God has deposited wisdom in for us for this season. I want you to give a warm, excited, ecstatic, standing up welcome to Pastor
Hey! Wow. Can anyone guess how many people gave their lives to Christ today? Can I tell you? I tell you. Are you ready? Okay. There were not 10. There were not 20. There were not even 30. There were not even 40. There were not even 50. They were not even 60. I continue. Can you believe it? They were not even 70. They were not even 80. They were 85. What? Woo! Can we give glory to Jesus? We bless you, Lord. Hey, listen, I am so excited for every single person who has made that decision. This is the best time to serve God, when you are young. Amen. It's best to serve God when you are young. Don't wait like those people who wait until they're old. You serve God when you're young. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, I have a very special guest for you. Are you ready for a special guest? You know, when you give your life to Jesus, that's the ground, that's the basic. From there, we start building from level to level to level. Some of you are going to become very rich. Today, you begin to understand how that's going to happen. So we want to talk about how to now start to build a life that is successful and prosperous in every sphere of your life. Is anybody ready for that? How to always succeed in all you do is win. That's all you're going to be doing after this. So I want you to help me. Let me introduce the guest before I forget who our guest is, before I get too excited. Are you ready for our guest? All right, I'm going to tell you something about our guest. Our guest is the co-founder of an organization that has passionately championed financial literacy as an essential life skill for over 20 years. Our guest is an accredited executive coach and a John Maxwell certified coach. Ask your neighbor, who has certified you? All right, okay. She has served on several boards for both profit and non-profit organizations. She is a volunteer in many organizations, such as the Junior League of Nairobi, Rotary Club, and many others. Tell your neighbor, and many others. She is a fellow with the Women Leaders of the World program. Not of your village, not of your city, but of the... Wow. Which is a fellowship for global female leaders solving some of the world's most intractable problems. Eish. Wow. Tell your neighbor you need to be solving some problems. She was recently recognized as one of the 50 most influential women in Kenya. By the way, we don't just bring you anyone to speak in this camp. Tell your neighbor we only have serious people here. Our guest made the top 40 under 40 list in 2010 in Kenya. Can you believe it? Top 40 under 40. Come on, somebody. Tell your neighbor you'll be there. She is the finance director of Oracle Africa. Ish. Not Oracle Kenya, Oracle Africa. That's a global corporation. Her business, it is that one person. Her business finance career spans over 25 years of increasing responsibility in finance and corporate leadership, working for Procter & Gamble, Hewlett-Packard, General Electric, and currently Oracle, covering responsibilities across Middle East and Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mayodi na Mayeng, give it up for Miss Dolly Sagwe Onyoni. Dolly, karibu sana. Great to have you here. So good to have you. Karibu sana. Come on, let's give a big Mavuno welcome. Fearless come. Wow, 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 wow. All right, are you guys ready? Ask your neighbor, are you ready? All right. Okay, sit down. I'll call you back. Just sit down for a minute, because now we want to get into some serious action. So glad to have you, Dolly. It's such a joy for you to be here. First of all, I need to say something about our guest. So I had forgotten to send the invite. So I sent it, I sent it on Tuesday. That's how embarrassed. And I sent it with, you know what, Kamanki in WhatsApp that does this? Because I was so embarrassed to be asking somebody with such a short notice to come and speak in our camp. And you know what she told me? She said, for young people, let me organize my schedule. I will cancel my meetings. I will be there. Can you see how much love she has for you? As in, she canceled her corporate meetings so she can be here to be able to share with us. Isn't that amazing? I think now you understand. You can give another big hand. We're so grateful you're here, Dolly. Thank you so much. Now, I know you've coached young people basically across this country, even across the world, because you do it. You have online programs you run. I know you have influenced many people in your life.
Yes.
And I know that you have many, many things that you teach young people that have really changed lives. And I've seen you, because we're friends, I've seen you do this over a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe you can just say, why this passion for young people? Where do you get this passion to just impact the young generation? Because somebody like you could be in my boardrooms, just traveling across the world. But it's so interesting for me. I see that as something that God has put in you, that you're always thinking about how to impact young people.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the energy and the enthusiasm. I'm really happy, and I'm glad I made this decision.
Wow.
Thank you so much,
Karibu
Pastor
sana.
M, for inviting me here.
Karibu sana.
So I have a whole corporate life, and I've done a number of things there. But each year, from when I was in my 20s, I kept going back to work with people who are like 5, 7, 10 years younger than me. And it just became natural and normal in my 20s, in my 30s, and the old age that I am.
That you're not going to say.
That I'm not going to say. But if anyone guesses it right, maybe I'll give you a gift. 16.
Somebody said 16. That one has to get a gift.
That one is my new best friend. Yeah, so I'm really passionate about the young people. And the reason is because I realize that the things that we learn later in life, that our genius young people can already learn when they're young.
Wow.
And I proved this over and over again. For example, I work, I mentor, I coach people about self-leadership.
Self-leadership.
And the question is, why do I have to wait to learn it from the employer who has told the HR manager to work with people about self-leadership at the age of 35? Today, the youngest here is 13 years. Whoever is here as young as you are, you can already start understanding that.
So there are things you don't have to wait until you're old to discover.
You don't have to wait. But our education system and the way we grow, we kind of catch up with them later. And that's really painful for even us at the workplace. When we're looking for people to come in, there are already basic skills. We're asking, why are they not coming in with these skills?
Wow.
So that sent me back. And the other thing is, the other reason I do it, and I tell my children this, I do it even with them, because I know these are competencies and skills they need to learn early, and they have the aptitude to learn early. And the second thing is, they have the time. They have the time. The school year leaves us at least 16 weeks to do everything else outside of academics.
Holiday.
So the question is, what are we doing with these 16 weeks?
Wow.
So for me, I see it as wasted resources that are all over the country, all over the world, saying we are on holiday. We're on holiday. That is, it's wealth that needs to be nurtured.
Yeah.
And because I understand the principles of wealth and all that stuff, I see it sitting at home or over the weekends or holidays, and I say, what can we do with these children?
So you don't have to wait until you're old to understand the principles of wealth.
No,
You can
don't.
understand them now.
Yes.
We can have some serious millionaires while they're still even before.
Absolutely.
That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
So today you're going to be helping us to think about some of that. Huh?
Absolutely.
And I know you said you want to talk about choosing growth.
Yes.
Today we talked about surrender. And I think what we're saying is once you surrender, then God can build on top of that. And what we want to talk about then is how do we grow to become successful?
Absolutely.
How do we grow to become people who win, win, win? All we do is win.
Yeah.
That's what we want to be.
Yeah.
So maybe then, how do we begin to enter into this conversation? What are some of the things we need to be doing as young people now to help us start growing in that way?
Yeah. So the key thing is to understand first and foremost that you are your one and greatest resource. It is you. It is what you do with yourself.
Okay.
When you do it, how you do it, who you do it with. So it begins with you. In fact, one of my greatest teachers is called John Maxwell. And he says the most difficult person to lead is yourself.
Wow.
Yeah?
The most difficult person to lead is
yourself.
yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
So
That sounds, you'd almost think me, I'm easy. It's those people who have issues.
yeah,
You're saying the problem of leadership is me.
it is me.
Yeah.
I need to understand how to lead myself first and foremost before I understand how to lead others.
Okay.
And that gets you to understand who am I and how do I grow? How do I track my growth? And then it leaves us with, what is this thing she's talking about? What is growth?
Yeah.
Growing where? How do I track it? Yeah, so it really starts fundamentally with who am I and how do I lead myself?
Wow. So leading myself, that's what we
Yes.
want to talk about.
Yeah.
So there's a question you had asked, which I thought was very interesting.
Yes, so I want to ask you, how did you spend your high school years outside of academics?
My high school years outside academics. Dwee. I'm just rewind. So the school I went to, I went to a school, back in the day, I think schools were a little more balanced. So I went to a school called Nairobi School.
Okay.
Hey, it was not Patch. And it was a very interesting school because there was no time that was left for idleness.
Uh-huh.
Like, our lives were full.
Yeah.
So we played a lot of sports. So I remember, like, term 1 was hockey, term 2 was rugby, term 3 was soccer.
Wow.
Everybody in the school had to play.
Wow.
Then there was things called clubs. So I remember that I used to be in the debating society where you had to go and just now learn how to talk. Of course, that one you could also go to girls' school, so there was an extra benefit for that one.
Yeah.
And then, so sports, debating. I also did, I was the editor of our school magazine. We had a school magazine. So I was very interested in writing. So I became the editor of our school magazine.
Yeah.
So I did that as well. I played a lot of the sports. I actually
Yeah.
played for my school team in some of the sports. So I was very involved. It was almost like if you're not in class, you're doing sports. If you're not in sports, you're doing a club. There was a lot of just extracurricular activities. So it
Right.
kept us busy. In fact, I remember our school team was so serious, like we never used to have April holidays
Oh.
for the rugby team. When everybody went home, us guys would go home for a week, then we come back and train for 3 weeks
Wow.
every day.
Wow.
And the school would actually pay for us to be in boarding to train. And then in second term, we would just play. And of course, you know what we did. All we did was, that's all we did. Yeah.
Amazing.
So it was a very busy, I remember it was a busy time.
So
The school
no
kept
idle
us
time.
busy. There was zero idle. In fact, you got home in holidays, all you wanted to do was sleep because you're
were
so
tired.
busy with
Yeah.
all these activities. Yeah.
Amazing.
So that was how about you? What was it? Similar, or what did you guys
So
do?
I went to a boarding school far, far away. It was not near this
Nearby,
town.
like ours.
As yeah. So my school was in Kakamega.
Come on.
It's called Mukumu Girls.
Ish.
Yes.
Okay, I can see some people know that one.
Do you know it? Oh, thank God. You know something.
You're not alone.
I don't. So I went to Mukumu Girls High School. Mukumu Girls High School was known for music festival.
Ah.
We used to dance and cram those Luya traditional songs.
Come on.
And we would dance and dance. The practice was like 3 times a week, Saturday morning.
Wow.
And we were always top 5 nationally.
And I'm sure even today they still do pretty well. Yeah.
Today, when I watch anything on social media or on TV and I see those dances, I just break into a dance. I'm like, I remember that one. That was when we were in Form 2 and stuff like that. So I did a lot of that dancing. Then there was stuff we were forced to do. I'm not naturally a sporty person, but we were always required to do the marathon every Tuesday. So we'd run
Cross
around-
country. Cross country.
The cross country. Yeah, so we had that once a week. And then you had to choose another sport. So I chose badminton because it was, all right, I see someone there. Then the other thing that I chose for myself is plaiting people's hair.
Oh.
Yes.
Plaiting people's hair.
So I had to learn how to plait my hair because it could get into a mane, So I became good at doing my own hair. And people were like, what is that you're doing and stuff? So I learned how to do cornrows.
Wow.
So I would start booking people from Wednesday, Thursday for the cornrows to be done on Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
Then they'd give me 50 bob, 70 bob. And I would buy bread.
It was a life skill.
Yes. It was a life skill.
Wow.
It was a tradable skill. So over the weekends, out of preps and cleaning time and all, I was nilikuwa nashuka watu nywele. Yes.
That's a serious life skill. Seriously.
Yeah.
So, it was interesting because you're just doing it because you had to do it.
Yes.
But there was something you were learning in the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's a number of things that we realize when we go through high school or we go through life. That was just high school because that's the generation we're talking about here. That there is what you are actually doing, like you're in school or you're working. And then there is time to do more.
Yeah.
In that other time where you do more is actually where growth comes from. Real growth.
Wow.
In fact, they say, I know nowadays people work 24 hours online anytime, but allow me to use the old way. They say that what you do from 8 to 5 is not going to unlock your full potential than what you do from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Wow.
Do
So
you
8 to 5 is the daytime?
Yes.
But the evening, what you do after work?
Exactly.
What you do with your extra time?
What you do with your extra time and your weekends. In fact, I tell people, just tell me what you do on your weekends, and I'll tell you who you are.
Oof.
Yeah?
Ask your neighbor, what do you do with your extra time? Yeah, that's a powerful question.
Yeah. So it is in those extra...
So you're saying that extra time is what's going to grow us?
Yes.
That's what's going to help us become wealthy, successful people.
Exactly. Yeah. So your success, which is wholesome success, actually starts getting defined when you have that independence of thought. You have the choice to do what you want to do. You know, like the way I was doing my hair and plaiting people's hair. In that, because I chose it for myself, I was learning a tradable skill. I was earning money. But because you don't do hair for less than 45 minutes, I was talking with these people. I was connecting with these people. And I was going deep in my relationships with them. So that's tough.
So you're learning many skills.
Yes, exactly. And that is what I want to talk about here today. So that as we go through this life in our teens and our early 20s or late 20s, and the 20s is called the defining decade in life, right? We understand what is it that you're doing because you're part of a system, but then what also is it that you're doing because you have chosen to do it?
Wow.
In this part where you've chosen to do it, that is exactly where real growth will come from.
Will happen.
Yeah, if I get a job, I know, my boss is watching me, I'm doing this, I need to deliver this and stuff. It becomes almost routine. By the way, you can also do that is deeper within the 8 to 5, within the job, so that you don't churn out just what your boss has said. Like, put this phone from here to here, then you do it 20 times a day. But you say, what if I introduce a new phone? How would that look like? That is a growth question.
So the growth is what you do with the extra.
With the extra.
Not what you've been told to do. Not the school time, not just the school assignments or my work assignment.
Yeah.
But that extra is what's going to help
Absolutely.
me grow. You give a really interesting example about two guys.
Yes. So we have two guys who have let's assume we know these two guys. If you could go to the slide, you'll see a slide with two guys. Now, we call one Victor and we call the other Brian.
Victor and Brian.
Victor and Brian. So Victor and Brian have just, in January this year, or January last year, let's talk about January last year, they transitioned from class 8 to Form 1. Do we have people here in the 844 system? The one that's being phased out?
Yeah,
very few, right?
No, there are many.
There are many?
What do I 844?
What do I
Muko?
844?
Yeah, they're there.
You're our people. You're the last of our tribe. Yeah. But then also we could have Victor and Brian transitioning from grade 6 to grade 7. Do we have people who transition to grade 7? All right.
Sure they're there?
And then we also have Victor and Brian transitioning from Form 4 to college. Do we have those ones? Right? And any transition you have, let's talk about these people who are transitioning to a new academic season, right? Now, they are dropped by their dad on day 1. Congratulations, my son, you've done very well. So you've been dropped at school, and you're told you have 4 years or 5 years, depending on which system now we are on, and I want you to succeed at the end. Those last grades years later will take you forward. So do well. Do well, make me proud. Then the dad goes. Victor's dad goes home, and Brian's dad goes home. So Victor, or let's start with Brian. Brian is the one in the uniform.
Okay.
He focuses on his academics. He makes time for his academics. He also makes time for he's deeply religious, both of them actually, and they make time for God. They have a prayer hour daily, and they have CU. Do we have CU, Christian Union, Bible study, Mizizi at school, right? So they also make time for that. So Brian, the first one, goes full academic. He's studying, making sure he doesn't let down his dad, and then he also has CU, and he takes on one thing, debate, just the same way you did your debate. Victor does the same thing as Brian. Academics are key. His faith is key, and he invests time in it. But as you can see, he's in a sports uniform. I don't know whether that's rugby or football or something.
That's probably football.
That's football? Okay.
I'm a badminton.
I'm a badminton. So he's a sportsman. Let's leave it at that. So he also invests time in sports. Yeah? These two go through the first year of this new school. And at the end of the year, we want to then assess, was there any difference in the way they grew? And what did these other things they did do for them in terms of growth? What if they only did academics? Just that. What if it was just nilikuja hapa kusoma and nothing else?
Yeah.
Is that successful living? And that's what we want to understand. So maybe now we go into how do you figure out where to grow for? And I'm sorry, the one who's doing the slides, you have to go back. Yeah. So we want to understand what is growth. And growth, as we have said, it comes to you after, in the extra time, the extra hours, the extra things you do.
What you do with your extra time.
What you do with your extra time. And what we're saying growth is growth is that which makes you better. It doesn't, you don't grow if you've stagnated. You don't grow if you haven't had movement. You have to ask yourself, yesterday I was here, and then today I'm here. Have you grown between yesterday and today?
Yeah.
You want to ask yourself that question. But you also want to ask yourself, where am I growing in? Which are these areas? And the areas we want to talk about growth are called the 5 capitals.
The 5 capitals.
The 5 capitals.
Okay.
Yeah? So let's see your hand, because we will refer to that hand severally. Yeah? Check out your neighbor's hand. Mwambie aweke mkono juu. Yeah. So this hand here is the one we're going to use to get us to understand which areas of our lives will we grow.
Okay.
Because it is important that me as a resource, me who needs to learn how to lead myself, understands which are the areas of my life I need to lead.
Okay.
So that I grow.
So these are 5 areas I need to succeed in
The
life.
5 areas I need to succeed in.
Okay.
So let's start with the first one.
Number
So we
1.
call them the 5 capitals, just so that we know what capital is again. So that you don't worry. About what capital. So capital is anything that which you focus on that gives you more value. All right. So you'll focus on 5 different parts of your life, and they will give you back value.
Yeah.
Just that, so that we demystify that word. All right. First things first, and we've said it. You will never change your life until you change something you do daily. So as we go through these 5 capitals, we are talking about you will never change your life until you do something daily. I want to take an example from what you've said. Your rugby practice.
Yeah.
How frequently was it?
It was several times a day, actually.
Several times.
In school time, it would be once a day.
Yeah.
In the holiday, because we are doing it full time, it was like 3 times a day.
You see now.
And I did that through all of high school and all of college, because I also played rugby in college.
Yeah.
So to be a serious sports person, it can't be something you do like once a week.
Yeah.
You have to almost rehearse or practice every day.
Yeah. And I'll give you the example of my braiding of the hair. I was braiding on Saturdays or on Sundays.
Yeah.
But between Monday and Friday, I was talking to other girls about, did you see her hair? I was still marketing.
Your
it.
marketing.
I was still thinking about who else is my competition around here and how much are they charging? Are they even charging? Or is it just me who started charging for hair, right? So you would actually engage in the actual activity or the preparation for the activity.
Yeah.
So you can't be in a position where you change your life if you only think about it once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Once every 2 months. You have to...
Or when you come to camp.
Or when you come to camp. Camp has started. It is fun. I hear it. I see the energy. Camp will end. It should not, and it will not end here.
Yeah.
You have to continue it daily, right? So that is where we're starting from. Because each of the 5 capitals, I will give you a hint of what to do daily to grow in those 5. So let's start with the first one.
5 capitals. Are you ready for 5 capitals? 5
Right?
places of wealth. 5
Yes.
places God wants you to be wealthy.
Right. So the first one is the thumb. Let's see your thumb. Yeah. And this thumb, we call it the spiritual capital.
Spiritual capital.
Spiritual capital. You see
Yeah.
where it's pointing? We call on our faith. We call upon God to start and be the core of this conversation
Yeah.
and this journey of growth and our desire to grow. It
Yeah.
must start with God, right?
Yeah.
And I know you went through a lesson or some teaching here in this
On
morning.
surrender. Yeah.
How do you see that connecting to this?
I realized when you know God, it's like even the thumb, as you say, points up, but also when you make a fist,
Yeah.
it's impossible to make a fist without a thumb. Eh?
Yeah.
It's like the thumb is the thing that holds everything together. So for me, I feel like faith is the thing that then holds everything together. When I have God, I find even relationships, like now, for instance, somebody messes with me or makes me angry. If I don't have God, I'm just going to enter a spiral. When I have God, I start praying about it. God sorts out my emotions.
Yeah.
Then I'm even able to go and apologize. It changes my relationships.
Yeah.
When I have God, I'm able to even get ideas. So it's a very crazy, I have a crazy story about that.
Go
I
ahead.
remember the time we had in campus, we had exams.
Yeah.
And I studied a very hard course. It was called biochemistry.
Wow.
And I remember there were things you just had to study. Like I remember we had an exam for vitamins.
Wow.
Like one exam. And you have to know like how to draw the vitamin, what it does, it's like everything about it. And there was a textbook that was like this big. In fact, guys would spend the whole term reading for that exam. It was such a hard exam, and many people failed it. I remember the week before, our church, I was in the church worship team
Yeah.
of Nairobi Chapel,
Uh-huh.
and we were having a recording.
Yeah.
And so I remember just thinking, I can't go. Not with all my classmates are like, vitamins are coming. But I remember we're talking with my girlfriend, the one I ended up marrying. And I remember, because she was in the worship team as well, and I remember she just said, God is the one who gives wisdom. So that our church needs us. Let's go and serve God. So we actually went for Friday rehearsal. which ended up late. Then Saturday, the whole day was a recording. And I remember just thinking, why? Yeah. Then Sunday, we're in church. I was like, we are dead. Like, I don't know. How do I even start? Like, I've lost a whole weekend.
Yeah.
Then I remember, this was, like I told you, this is a crazy, it's a spooky story. It's a spooky story. Pastor Carol, she wasn't Pastor Carol then, she was just my girlfriend. She just said, by the way, as we're in stage leading worship, I just felt God saying we should study vitamin A. I looked at her like, huh? She was like, I know that there's a lot of stress. This Sunday, as we're going to the afternoon, you're trying to catch up with everybody else because we had other exams, so we didn't have so it was like, when you go to your room, I just sense God is saying, forget everything, study vitamin A.
Wow.
I was like, what? I wasn't sure, but I was like, let me just go with it. You know, when a man loves a woman, I was like, let me just do it. So I went, and I actually said, if God has said it, I'm going to study vitamin A. Dolly, the exam
Was
Monday morning, 8 a.m. Open the paper. Question 1, vitamin A.
Oh, wow.
Question
Look at
2,
that.
vitamin A.
Wow.
Question 3, vitamin A.
Oh, wow.
Question 4, like 5 questions
Wow.
on vitamin A. That was our exam.
Amazing.
We both got an A in it.
Amazing.
Okay, don't try this at home. I'm not saying that you go and just, like you don't read. But what I'm saying is, when God is a source of wisdom, and when He's in my life, He's the one who even gives me wisdom on how to succeed in the other
For the
areas.
next. Exactly. Absolutely. And that amazing story. And it shows us that we have to start and get anchored in the Lord.
In God, yeah.
First and foremost. And as you say, He unlocks everything else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the first capital. The first capital?
Vitamin A. Oh, sorry. Not spiritual capital.
The first capital?
Spiritual capital.
Spiritual capital. All right? So what are the daily practices that will help us with this capital? We are growing. Remember, we are growing.
Yeah.
And we are growing from the stretch, the things we do extra
Every
things
day.
we do. The things we do on a daily basis that will grow our spiritual are your daily prayer, reading your Bible daily,
Yeah.
and daily journaling. You have to journal. And the reason why we journal is because you start reflecting. You write what your reflections are.
Yeah.
What have you read? What is God telling you? You write it down. And it hits and lands differently.
Yeah.
All right? So we do have now the first capital for
So
growth
daily prayer, daily Bible reading,
and daily
and
journaling.
daily journaling. Daily Bible reading, I know we already say in Mavuno, we're reading through the Bible. And I'd encourage all the teens, get on the Bible reading plan because it gives you a plan for what to read every day.
Absolutely.
But journaling is something that a lot of people have learnt about. But journaling is basically saying, I write down my reflections,
yeah.
maybe of what the day before was, the lessons I learned,
Yeah.
and something I'm trusting God for. Maybe I have a prayer that I can even record.
Absolutely.
And it's something, by the way, I think I learned it when I was in college, and I did it from those days. So even today, I still have journals that are many years old that I go back and I look at how God answered prayers
Yeah.
years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of journaling. When you journal, you have the benefit of looking back and seeing how God has shown up
Yeah, yeah.
and seeing what needs to still be prayed for and seeing maybe where you could have done differently or prayed differently,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So the journaling actually gets you to think and synthesize what it is that you're reading and feeling, all right?
Wow.
So daily habits. Remember we said your life will not change until or unless you change what you do on a daily basis.
Wow.
So that's
number one.
Yes.
Now, guys, we're going to have an opportunity to ask questions, okay? Any question. So as we're going also, if you have a question or a thought about this or even anything else that's related or unrelated, write it down. Because at the end, we'll have a chance to ask any questions. So number one is which capital? Come on, let me see your spiritual capital. It's pointing up, right? Not like this. Nivi bana. All right, spiritual capital.
Spiritual capital.
Number two.
Number two, the index finger. This pointing finger. You know that song? Right, good stuff. So this pointing finger, which is the index finger, is relational capital.
Relational capital.
Relational capital. Let me tell you why this finger. When I point at something, I tell you, Pastor M, there are people sitting out there.
Yeah.
There's a desk out there. It is rare that you will point at something and speak and you're not talking to somebody. Have you ever pointed at something and spoken? Maybe 1% of the time. And you're just yourself? Yeah? Most of the times you're pointing and speaking and you're referring to somebody else. That's one. The other way is to give direction. Like, which turn do I take to go to Mavuno Hill City?
Unaenda
I
hivi?
ask a guy out there and he says, utaenda hivi, ushuke hivi, upande hivo. I don't even know, by the way,
It's
about
true.
kushuka
By the way,
na
nobody ever
kupanda.
does utaenda hivi. Alafu.
Yeah?
It's always with
With your pointing finger.
With your pointing finger,
Your index finger. So when you're pointing and you're giving direction, you're actually talking to people. So what I'm introducing here is people. The other thing we could do is you're nudging somebody and say, hey, quiet. We're learning something.
Yeah.
You're actually talking and pointing at somebody. So this finger is largely
relational
used
capital
to refer in reference with people.
with others.
Yes. How do you see it?
I think relational capital is very interesting because it means growing in my relationship with others, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So you're talking about becoming good at building friendship, having conversations with others.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I remember when I was in high school years can be stress. Anybody feeling me? Hey, high school can be stress. Me, I remember having stress in high school. Huh? And one of the stresses of high school is relationships. Because I just found, hey, sometimes people have issues. You enter, they're talking about you. You can even tell. Like people have my issues. You know, somebody has issues. They don't know how to tell you. Or you enter, you don't know how to talk to people. So you find yourself floating. And then there was pressure that you can't be seen floating. You have to be seen looking like a smooth guy talking to, like, hey, yenyewe high school iko na ma pressures, by the way. Huh? And I remember just really thinking, how do I grow? So for me, debating society was very helpful. Because debating society, it taught us how to talk.
Yeah.
So you had to create a debate. You have to come up with a motion. You have to argue for it. And then after the debate, this is the part I was saying that we ended up doing. After the debate, we'd have a social time, if it was a girls' school, and would spend time talking.
Yeah.
So it helped us grow skills of talking to
People.
others, huh?
Yeah.
Which is something that wasn't natural. It's not something I came into high school with.
Yeah.
So that thing is it's been very helpful because life is about others.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this second capital, being about people, what it asks of us is to understand people. You need to understand how to interact, how to get in, how to get out of people's spaces. Yeah? There are times you're invited into people's spaces.
Yeah.
There are times you actually need to maybe step away. And that requires some sort of intelligence. The people we are interacting with are first and foremost our family. Think about it. You've closed school now. What exactly are you doing with your siblings? What are you doing with your parents? How are you adding value there? Are you actually even available for conversation?
Yeah.
Or are we all stuck up on our gadgets? And when somebody talks to you, you say, so Pastor M is talking to me, but I'm on my phone. I'm like, yeah. He's telling me, yeah, you need to come eat. Yeah, I'll be there. That does not build good relationships.
Yeah.
Not at home, not with your friends, not in your community, not at school. You want to master this thing called relationships and friendships because in the end, 10 years later, 5 years later, your net worth, who you are and the wealth that you'll carry will actually much more be carried for you by others.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My worth today as Dolly is not just me seated here.
Yeah.
But because I know Pastor M, I know there is something I can tap in from him. But he'll only transfer that to me if I've built a relationship with him.
Yeah.
You understand that? So when he talks to me, I need to be off my phone.
Yeah.
I need to really listen to him. Look into his eyes and say, I understand and I feel you. And he goes away feeling heard.
Yeah.
So what I want to challenge, and especially the young generation now because of social media, we didn't grow up that way. Do people who talk to you feel heard and seen? Or are you distracted? Are you distracted? Your second capital that will make sure that you grow and you grow well year in, year out is how you actually are present for others.
So learning to make friends.
Learn to
I
make
think-
friends.
the phrase that I think you're reaching out for is your network is your net worth.
Your network.
Your network
yes,
is your net worth,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
And you're right, because guys, Yanni, I'm just Pastor M, but I'm able to get you the finance director of Oracle Africa. Not because of anything except that I have networks.
Yeah.
Isn't it? My networks are important because there's someone else who would like to get somebody of this value to come talk to their people, but they don't have the networks.
Absolutely.
So when you make friends, when you learn to make friends with people who are different from yourself, it's actually a skill that will help you in life.
Yeah.
It's such an important skill.
And let me share something that was shared with me, and I was really shocked about this. One of the leadership conferences I went for women, so that it starts here. In one of those conferences, it was actually in UCLA in the US, research shows that women, and therefore now I'm talking to the young girls in the room, women actually actively start building their network in their 30s, mid to late 30s.
Wow.
Men start at the age of 19.
Wow. Hey, come on, guys.
Yeah? So what that means...
So men start building networks earlier?
Earlier.
I'm so surprised because me, I thought it was the other way around.
And maybe it is not conscious. Maybe it's because how men socialize outside. You know, like sports.
Ah.
Yeah? You had I didn't do a lot of sports in high school.
Yeah.
And that's maybe where it starts. It starts with how are you engaging as a teenager?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then how many people do you know?
It's so true.
Today you're all 18, and then you are 19. One day you're 45. This one is the CEO of that place.
It's true.
This one is leading that organization.
It's
This one
so
is the
true.
president of the... But you started with football in the field.
It's so true, by the way.
The girls, maybe because the way we are socialized, is go home, stay home, where are you? You know, because we protect our girls.
So you don't make the friends.
And they don't do that, and it doesn't go deep as much as it does with the
Wow.
guys.
So
right?
thank God for Come Fearless.
Yes. So here, actually, if you must leave this camp with at least 10 people you did not know.
10 new friends.
10 new friends that know you and that they believe that you saw them and you had them.
Wow.
Not just the name. Not ati huyo ndio aliwin ile race and you know them from a distance. They really, truly know you.
So learn to make friends.
Learn to make
You know, it
friends.
was interesting. Recently, I had a situation where I remember one of my children was really struggling to enter a certain class. And you know how schools can be sometimes, huh?
Yeah.
Your parents are trying to talk to them, they're not listening. So I was not paying attention. Then I remembered there's an alumni WhatsApp group we have.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my college mates was actually, I didn't know until he posted something. I realized he's the vice chancellor of the same school.
Wow. Wow.
So I actually just DM'd him. I told him, your school is frustrating me and my daughter, and I'm not having progress. The guy just said, Monday, show up.
Amazing.
And he put a meeting
Yeah.
with the entire academic team
Yeah.
of that class, of that course,
Yeah.
to meet me.
Yeah. Wow.
In fact, when I walked in, they were wondering, who is this guy? That even the vice chancellor has called us and said, you must meet with him.
Yeah.
But that is a network. Are you understanding? So sometimes maybe you're so busy in school, you're just ignoring people. Understanding the person next to me one day could be the person who opens a door for me.
Yeah.
They may not look like much now, but God could use that person to open some serious doors for me.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing about growing up in church, isn't it? Because in church we make friends with people who are have like values, like-minded, and those people become our network.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So relational capital is critical.
And I like that example you've given. Let me just ask here. Kuna watu wa I Am Alliance.
Alliance children in the house? Are they here?
Okay? Starehe, Alliance. But you've heard that. Have you heard about that? Watu Alliance? You know, that is actually them still trying to...
They have a pride.
They have a pride, and they say we belong.
Yeah.
There are so many jokes and memes about them, but they belong. So I'm affiliated to an alliance person, my husband. Yeah, well, so they have...
You're not saying.
Yeah, I don't say. So they have this WhatsApp group, and it's similar to what you are saying. And the WhatsApp group he was there 30 years ago.
Yeah.
They actually graduated 30 years ago. I was telling him, hey, tumezeeka. So they have a WhatsApp group, and you know what they do? 30 years later, every Monday, one of them has to share a story from high school. And they build that community and continue network, and they're all over the world.
Wow.
So Alliance was celebrating a milestone the other day,
Yeah.
and they went for it. But I think about during COVID or something, there was a 30-year celebration at Alliance. So my husband went with my son. He's a footballer, and he had just injured his knee, his ankle in the field. So he was limping, but the dad said, come, we are going. They go there, and one of the guys who were Alliance, his classmates, goes like, what's up with your son's foot? He said, yeah, he was playing football and stuff. Then he started kufinya-finya. He asked, are you feeling pain here? Is it, are you feeling numb here? Then he's like, yeah, that's a bit numb. Then he tells my husband, please have him come see me on Monday. This guy is a doctor, Mr. First of all, that is the day I got to know.
Yeah, after doctor, there's another level.
Kuna level ingine after DR that goes to MR, Mr.
Yeah.
or something like that. So he goes and there are like 6 or 7 in Kenya.
Wow.
So he goes and sees him and realizes there's something with the foot, and he's treated for free over a 6-month period.
Networks.
Now, this person who treated my son and my husband knew each other in Form 2. Form 2. So Form 2 equivalent of CBC is what now? I think we haven't gotten there. Grade 8, 9?
Grade 10.
Grade 10, right? So whichever grade you are in, actually, 6, 7, 8, there are people in that class of yours that you need to go deeper with. Actually, all of them. Because you do have the time.
Wow.
Your network is your net worth.
Are you understanding? So, thumb is spiritual capital, relational capital.
Okay, now we go to this finger, right? The middle finger is the longest.
So we do it like this.
Yeah? Yeah?
If you don't get it, forget about it.
Yeah. And if you even do this way, you see it's the longest? For it to stand tall, it has to be fit. It has to be strong, right? Actually, before we move from there, just go back one slide, the daily routines.
Or daily routines for relational capital. Yeah, before we forget.
Daily routines for your relational capital. What you do every day to build your relationships is you listen actively to people when they're speaking. Put your gadgets away, focus. Mtu akikuongelesha, skiza. They feel trusted and heard and respected. That will build trust for you. Also, be kind. Really be kind to people. Be known to be a kind person. And I like the series you've just been running with, in Mavuno, choose the right squad.
Choose the right squad.
And be the right squad member. Who's your squad?
Yeah.
And what do you do when you're there? And that series...
So one of the things about being kind, you know, in a camp like this, some of you came with your friends. How many came with your friends? Let me just see, show of hands. Yeah, you came with friends. It's so good because you're already in a Kirende, you already have your squad.
Yeah.
There are people you already belong to. And it's very easy to miss the people who are alone.
Yeah.
You know, being kind means you see somebody who is looking like they're a bit awkward, they're looking like they don't belong, and reaching out to them and telling them, come, sit over here. What's your name? Learning to make friends who are not part of your crowd. That's what being kind means.
Absolutely.
And when you're young, that's such a powerful skill to develop. To look for the people, even in your class, who are looking like nobody is including them, and then learn to be unincluded. That's what it means to be a fearless influencer.
Absolutely.
So be kind, and then choose the right squad.
Choose the right
I like
squad.
it.
And include people, as he said. The third
So
one now.
number 3.
Number 3, the middle finger. Yeah? It's this one here. If you put it that way, you see it's the longest. It stands tall and strong, right? This is physical capital.
Physical capital.
Physical capital. And I understand there was an activity this morning.
Those are
here.
physical activity.
Yeah. So in terms of your physical capital, based on your morning activity, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself? Physical activity. On a scale of 1 to 10.
The people who are... If you are dying, you're a 1.
One means very weak. I need to work on this capital. Anyone needs to work on that capital? Yeah? Honestly speaking, anyone wants to really work on that capital? The physical capital, the one that makes that finger stand strong and tall, is really what to do with your body. Yeah? You have to eat well. And I know about teenage years, and maybe eating well was not quite what we were going for. Yeah? Maybe we eat quantity more than quality. You have to eat well. Hata kama ni quantity, weka balanced diet, right? Eat well. Again, sleep in hours.
Does Indomie count as a balanced diet?
No. Indomie is not a balanced diet. But guess what? I do understand that there are Indomie years in life, right? There are Indomie years in life. What you have to do is to look at that Indomie every day and tell God, one day you shall redeem me from this, right?
But add some vegetables to the Indomie at least.
Add some vegetables. Yes, ongeza vitamin. Unakumbuka vitamin? Ongeza vitamin. I don't even know. Is it starch? Indomie.
Yes, that's starch. Pure
That's
starch.
just pure starch, right? Yeah.
And chemicals.
So what you eat is important. Figure out what it is you're eating, because you need your body for everything else. You need your body for ministry. You need your body to live your purpose. This vessel that we're given, you're given to take care of it.
Yeah.
So what you eat. Secondly, sleeping. And I'll talk about sleeping because the younger you are, the less hours you sleep. For what, by the way, right? For whatever reasons.
Watching my favorite series.
Series, and you're online, and maybe you're talking long hours with this other person, and whatever, things like that, right? You want to actually say to yourself, self-discipline. Actually, this finger is also for discipline, right? The middle finger. You want to tell yourself, enough of what I've done now, it's time to do the next thing, right? So it's time to sleep. So you eat well, you sleep well, and you exercise. So for those ones who scored less than 8.5 earlier, from the morning activity that we did, in terms of social capital, we need to actually work on our physical capital.
Yeah.
All right?
It's when I was going to say something about that one. When you're young, it's the one that we tend to ignore.
Yeah.
Because your body still looks good. Even if you eat Indomie every day and smoke anything else, still look good. Nobody can tell that you look funny. But what's happening is inside you're aging.
Yeah.
Inside you're actually growing old faster than your friend who is eating a balanced diet.
Yeah.
And what will happen is in your teens, in your 20s, it won't show. By the time you start getting into your 30s, there will be a difference. By the time you hit your 40s, you cannot hide it anymore.
Yeah.
I remember that same WhatsApp group. I remember one time people had shared all their photos. You know how you just say, guys, please let's share your photos so we see how people look.
Yeah.
So I remember everybody shared their photos. Then I thought, let me call my kids. I showed my classmates.
Yeah.
And I opened the phone and they started laughing. They're like, when you went to school with grandfathers, like people look really old.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was people did not take care of what they ate. People drank. Let me tell you, alcohol and drugs will mess how you look.
Yeah.
When you're young, it doesn't show, but your inside is aging. And then in your 40s, the inside starts coming out. And it doesn't matter how well you dress, you will just look old.
Absolutely.
So I think it's very important to understand now the food you're eating, you will become what you're eating.
Exactly.
Yeah. The exercise you're giving right now, you may not see it, but a time will come when it will actually hinder you from doing. Like now, I'm in my mid-50s, but I feel I have as much energy as anyone in this room.
Yay.
In fact, there are only 4 guys here who have more energy than me. We proved it today. But the interesting thing is there are people who are in their mid-50s now who cannot do anything. They're always in hospital. They're always getting treatment for high blood pressure, for diabetes. And guess when that happened? It was when they were in their teens and their 20s.
Absolutely.
The choices that they were making then are determining how they're living today.
Yeah.
So that physical is critical.
Yeah, yeah. So replace the Indomie with Githeri. It is actually a much better deal.
Shush. Aish.
Truths only, truths only.
I think the video is freezing. So you've given us our daily sleep well.
Sleep well.
And sleep well means how many hours?
So I know there's all these things. We are waking up early to study and all. It is 7 to 9 hours.
7 to 9 hours.
7 to 9 hours.
So
minimum.
sleep well. Turn
Minimum.
off the gadget.
And sleep for
And
10
sleep.
hours.
You're
Yeah, 7
helping your
hours.
body. Eat well.
Sleep well
Eat well.
and exercise. All right?
Those are daily things that you can do.
Daily things
By
you
the way, even just doing like 20 press-ups every morning,
Yeah.
it's an amazing exercise. Taking
Yeah.
a skipping rope and just skipping, like just saying every morning I'll skip 50 or 100. Just that, you'll find that it's much better than not doing anything.
Yeah.
You'll actually be helping your heart and your body.
And if there was that challenge this morning and only 4 came out strong for you, I would challenge everyone here for the next camp. That number 4 becomes a greater
100.
number.
That means 100 people should do more press-ups and Pastor M in the next camp. Come on,
Absolutely.
somebody.
We are good?
Yes.
Good stuff.
Because it means that on the inside, I'm younger than them.
Yes.
Okay. That's
Okay.
number 4.
Number 4 is this finger here. It's a ring finger. You can see the ring finger. Yeah? So this ring finger, the ring is a sign of commitment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, we want you to commit to never stop learning. Never stop learning. This is the intellectual capital.
Intellectual capital.
Your wisdom. Your wisdom. Just go back. Yeah.
It's the next one. The 4th
Oh,
finger.
did I? That one. That one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's your wisdom. Yeah? You want to grow in the wisdom that you have. Now, at the age of 15, what you know at 15 should be less than what you know at 18. And again, I'm not talking about history, geography, science books, and academics. Read widely. Read personal development books. Have conversations, deep conversations with people. Ask your dad and your mom and your adults in your house, your shosho, your guka. Ask them things about their lives. And you will learn so much from that. When you keep continuing, when you keep gathering information about different things and learning different skills, you actually start growing in a way that you also don't understand. People tell me, Dolly, you seem to know a little bit about everything.
Yes.
How did you know? I'm just always reading.
Wow.
I'm just always reading. Social media has infiltrated our lives completely. And this is what I ask people who I mentor. When you wake up in the morning, what do you do? What's the first thing you do? And they always say, I take my phone. Okay, that's all of us. Guilty. When you take your phone, what's the app you go to first? Which one? TikTok. Haya. Sasa depending on the age group, kuna TikTok, kuna WhatsApp, kuna Bible app, you know? Whichever app you use, that first moment had better be around these 5 capitals. Whatever you're consuming. Consume one of the 5 capitals that we're going to talk about. So use your gadgets to increase your wisdom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what we're talking about, the ring finger. It's really intellectual. What you have in here, and you know, I keep telling my children, you know, you need to figure out whether you're a deep person or a shallow person.
Come on.
Yeah? And the only way depth comes here, so that it can come through your mouth, is what you're consuming intellectually.
Cabbage in.
Garbage out. Yeah? So who wants to be deep? Who wants to be deep? There's only one formula. Lifelong learning. Keep learning. Keep learning. The right things. Just keep learning.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. You know, it's interesting. This group here is very different.
Yeah.
This is the only group of young people in this country that don't have a single cell phone among them.
Right now.
Eish! Yani, this group here, they're very serious learners.
Wow.
Because they don't have a phone. Okay,
Yeah.
I know some of them are shaking right now, withdrawal symptoms. But imagine they've dedicated themselves the next 3 days to just receive wisdom without getting distracted. And I feel like that's such a powerful thing. But you're saying, let's use, even when you have a gadget, use it to grow, not to consume.
Yeah.
You know, because as we use, like, you know, there's something my wife says. She says, whenever you see guys watching, okay, guys, we're ball, please don't take this personally. Whenever you watch a crowd watching football, you have 22 highly earned professionals earning money. and 22,000 people paying money. Okay, some of you will get that another time. Yani, there are people who are consumers who are just there to give money.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who are there who are professionally doing their work. When you go on TikTok and you're watching that influencer, guess what that influencer is doing? They're earning money. Guess what you're doing? You're consuming, which means that you're making someone else rich.
Absolutely.
So why not use the gadget God has given you to make yourself rich? And how do you make yourself rich? By learning something. So Dolly, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'll put you on the spot here. In the last 3 days,
Yeah.
what is something you've learned from the internet? Last 3 days, see until last year.
Yeah. Last 3 days, deliberately what I've gone to look for to learn is how to do prompts. How to prompt for my AI solutions.
Yeah.
So there's English and then there's English. For me to get from ChatGPT, what I really want, I need to understand how to prompt it.
Wow.
And there are actually online free courses on how to refine your prompts.
Ish.
So
you're not consuming, you're there learning how to use your ChatGPT better.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I need that ChatGPT to make my life simple.
Come
Yeah,
on.
but I don't want to keep asking it 3 times and then go like, that's not what I asked. Then I try again, that's not what I asked. Then somebody told me, you need to learn how it thinks so that you prompt it the way it has been programmed.
And you need to train it.
And then you train it to think like you.
Yeah. Did you know that, by the way? You can actually train your AI so that it thinks the way you want it to think.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what you've been doing with your time.
Yes. What about you?
Oh, sawa. So last 3 days, something I've learned. So one of the things I came to discover a few months, maybe about a year ago. It's been a while. I discovered that agriculture is one of the most neglected ways to make money. And I discovered that when Wazungus come to Kenya, they don't go to work in offices. They retire to Nyanyuki and they make a lot of money. So I made a commitment that I'm going to learn how to be a farmer. So over the last 3 days, one of the things I've learned, one of the most important things, I'm growing right now a crop of onions because I really know I can make a lot of money with them. I've actually planted them. So I was learning about companion crops. There are crops that you can plant with onions that can help your onions actually be better and get you a better market share. And hopefully by the time I'm done, I should earn from the first harvest somewhere like 1.3 million in the next 2 months.
New career loading.
Yeah. Yani, unaniona hapa nikihubiri. By the way, I've got some things I'm learning from the internet that are making me. So what we're saying is you can use it to move ahead.
You need to use
rather than just using to consume what other people are doing.
Yeah.
You can be learning how to become better.
Yeah. And the challenge there, I know we have a typo. Just keep learning. Learn something new every day.
Learn something new. So daily routine. Learn something new
every day.
So even by the end of today, you should be able to say, here is something I learned that I didn't know yesterday. Is that okay? All right, we need to move quickly because we're about to end.
The
last finger
is the small finger or the pinky finger. Let's see it. Just to confirm we're still together. The pinky finger is the smallest, maybe the weakest, but you cannot survive without it. I want to challenge you to do this. Yeah? Do this with your pinky and then drop your hand. Still, while you're having it this way, right? Drop your hand. Is it comfortable? Are you struggling? Okay, now release your pinky to fall with the others. Is it okay?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that it's the smallest finger. It is required for the family to be whole. This family of capitals.
Yeah.
Right? So to see dharau, in other words, this smallest finger is the one that represents money and your resources.
Wow.
Right?
So it's your financial capital.
It is your financial capital that brings balance to the others. It's the financial capital, money and resources. And the reason why we say money, we all understand money, but resources could be knowledge, could be a skill, could be your talent.
Yeah.
And then you understand your knowledge, your skill, your talent, and see how to translate that into money that is needed for other things to prosper.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
it's not the end, but it's a means to the end.
Yeah.
You just need to know how to use it, how to master it. So that means you need to go for money lessons. How many here have had a money lesson, gone and been taught about money? Wow. All right? Just so that you know, April globally is Financial Literacy Month. So you are here as I speak about this thing called money, and you need to master your money so that it doesn't control you. You control it. In fact, you're the one who's producing to keep increasing it so that it doesn't control the way you think, who you are, and how you identify yourself.
Yeah.
All right? So that's the money one. It's the pinky finger. What do you think about that?
Well, it's funny that you say the fifth, because for most people, that's their first capital.
Yeah.
That's the one that they believe, if I get this one, my life will be successful.
Yeah.
But I feel like what you have said is you've reversed it. You've actually said it's important, but it's the fifth.
Yeah.
It follows the rest.
Yes.
But I also think I like what you said about talent, because one of the things I'm convinced in life is every single person in this room has a talent that can make them a millionaire.
Absolutely.
And that talent, nobody can copy you because it's you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that thing that God has given you that nobody else has? It's one of those things that I think intellectual capital will help you to discover.
Absolutely.
Because when you discover it, you'll find nobody can compete. Some of you, by the way, you're the noisemaker in your class. You're always in trouble. Am I looking at some noisemakers? And you never know that within that could actually be your talent. There's a guy called Eric Omondi. There's someone called Churchill. I think those guys must have been the makers of their class. But today they are being paid millions because they learned how to harness their talent.
Absolutely.
So what are those talents God has given you that you can actually become good at? And it's just investing, because when you're young, maybe money is not the first thing you have.
No.
But you have your talent. So investing in your talents, whether it's sports, whether it's just being able to make a website, whether just building valuable skills in your life
Absolutely.
that eventually later become useful.
Absolutely.
So one of the skills, I don't know, how many of you are geniuses at Canva? Canva. If I told you right now, make an ad for MYF, your MYF will see it and they'll be like, you're hired. Let me just see. Okay, only about, the other hands went down now. In other words, all those tools are there for you to develop skills. Now, me, if I make an ad for your MYF, by the way, you'll hire me. In other words, I'm an expert at it.
Yeah.
I've grown at it, just doing it for myself. Nobody pays me to do it. So just developing talents, the different talents that you have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And your talent actually unlocks for you that wealth.
Wow.
And your daily routine with this
Daily
pinky
routine, yeah.
is once you earn, first of all, you develop your talent, and then you use it to earn. Once you earn, the first thing you do is to share or to give, and then you save and invest. You save for investments. This might not be happening daily, but you need to think about it so that as the earnings come, you don't think about just consuming. And lastly, spend wisely.
Spend wisely.
And there's a reason why the spend was the last part, right? That is in that order.
You know, sharing sometimes is not just sharing with money, it's even sharing the talent.
Even the time.
I mean, today I was so impressed. Let me just say, we need to end, but one thing that shocked me, did you notice the talent of the band today?
Wow.
I mean, that is our MYF band. Those are the young guys of this church, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, they played so well. And I remember looking at these guys and thinking, my goodness, at that age they're playing. I mean, I'm looking at them, they're so young.
Amazing.
But I'm seeing the skills they're developing. Just in their spare time, somebody's in school, but they're still learning to be a drummer. And I'm seeing that's a skill that will build for them some serious finances later in the future.
Absolutely.
So can we just appreciate our band? Yeah. So we're saying whether it is spoken word, whether it is dance, whatever it is that you're developing, develop it. Yeah. Because that's a talent God has given you that eventually will build for you financial capital.
And I like the way you're saying it's not just the money. It's actually three things. It's your time, it's your talent, and it's your treasure. That is the wealth. This is the pinky finger. Yeah? Your financial capital, money, and the resources you have. And time is also a resource.
Wow.
What do you do with it?
Come
okay?
On.
And those are the 5 capitals.
I love it.
Those are the 5
Can we just appreciate Miss Dolly? This is an amazing, amazing teaching. Now, we want to just hear your questions. Have you learned something useful? Have you learned something useful? Is anybody here feeling like at least nimechanuka? There's something I've learned I didn't know. All right, I'm going to give up the stage. We're going to give up the stage briefly to Pastor Kilonzi. He's going to help us understand how to do our Q&A. So I hope you have questions. I hope something has been deposited in your mind. Maybe even before we hear the questions, can you turn to your neighbor and tell them one thing you've learned that you didn't know? Just real quick, as we're getting our mics ready, one thing you've learned in this talk that is changing your life, something you didn't know that you've learned today. And then Pastor Kilonzi, take over.
All right, turn to the person seated next to you. Then share with them one thing you've learned today. Maybe it's a capital. Maybe it's a phrase. Maybe it's a word that stood out for you that encapsulates everything we've learned today in the 5 capitals about growth. Because we're all to grow. And then as you talk to your neighbor, tell them, I think that's a powerful question that you need to ask. I'm going to pick 3 questions. And so I can see a lady there. Someone else? I'm going to pick 3 questions. So let's start with that lady over there. So just hold a moment for people to finish, and then we go into it. All right. You've shared your phrase. You've shared your word. There's a thing that stood out for you. Okay. So let's start with that question. I'm going to pick 3 questions. And then I'm going to tell us the next time we're inviting one Dolly Sagwe to come back again. Are you excited about that? You guys are not excited. I'm not bringing her back. Do you want me to bring her back? All right, so let's hear that question, and then there's someone else with a question there, and then a third one, and then you're going to come back. So stand up, share your name, and then share with us your question.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Chantel.
Come on, Chantel.
My question is, what is one thing you know now that you wish you knew when you were younger?
All right, so it's a general a question, not specifically from the talk, but what's one thing you know today that you wish you knew when you were younger? That's a very good question. I love it. There's someone else with a question over here. So stand up, boldly speak the mic, speak out loud, and then share with us.
So, my name is Tom.
Come on, Tom.
Okay. I want to ask if you don't know something is yours, like, how will you know it's yours?
Wow.
In your educational and academics.
All right. So if you don't know something is yours, how will you know it's yours? What do you know what you don't know? How do you know what you don't know? Because you don't know it's yours, so you don't even know how to be able to go and get it. Okay. There's one young man over here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Ethan, and my question is, why do you think investment is key?
All right. Why do you think, is it just financial investment or relational investment? Which investment? Financial. Why do you think financial investment is key? Now, for good measure, shaken together, running over, let me get, who do I get? Okay, let me get this young gentleman to ask.
Hi, my name is Joseph. My question is, what is your biggest regret when you were young?
So biggest regret when you were young. So 4 questions that you've picked there. Something about, lessons we learned when we were younger. Questions about what do you know? How do you know what you don't know? Yeah. It's in the unknown area sort of deal. And then why is financial investment key? And then a regret that you have when you're young. Then we're going to take a break. They're going to answer those questions. And then I'll tell you a proper time when Dolly will come back and we'll have an interrupted moment of being able to ask our questions. All right. So take those 4 questions and then you're going to go ahead.
Something you wish you knew. Maybe the first question and the last one are connected. Something you wish you knew and a regret.
Yes.
So do you have something like that?
I think for me, what I could have done differently is actually this one, relational capital.
Yeah.
Nobody told me that I didn't know I needed to nurture my relationships longer and deeper.
Yeah.
And today, there are people from my primary, high school, university, even employers I've worked with before, that I think had I put in more effort to be that close a friend, my network would be wider. So if I was to go back 20 years or 30 years, that's, you now get how old I am, I would deal with people differently. Yeah.
It's so interesting because I also share that one. Like I remember when I was doing in college, when I did my master's, I went to a school, an international. I was in a school that had many people from different nations, but I didn't really think of the value of being surrounded by all those networks. So I didn't make deep friends. And I had a friend who was from Kenya who was in the same school who made extremely deep friendships. And when she came back, like a lot of what she has done, she has had a lot of international connection for. So for me, I almost had to start rebuilding those relationships because I was next to people and I didn't realize these people are actually they even may be more important than the degree I'm studying.
Absolutely.
So that thing of friendship is so critical because many times nobody tells you the value of friendship. One other quick one is for me, financial capital. I wish I knew how easy it is to become wealthy. Like, you don't need a godfather, you don't need a deal, you don't need a hustle, you don't need to neglect your family. You just need to learn to be a good investor. And maybe that now comes to the question, why financial investment? Because one of the things that happens when you're young is you don't understand why it's important.
Exactly.
So many young people, what they do is they save to consume.
Yeah.
So I have a saving, I've got a Kachum's account. When the money reaches a certain amount, Valentine's may come. Some kicks, I saw some shoes somewhere nice. It's gone and it's back to zero.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches me about the value of investing when I was young. Maybe you can say something about why, because you had mentioned that. Why is it key?
Investing is key, and that's Ethan who asked that, and very young Ethan. That is an amazing question at that age. It is key for you to start investing early. I actually, when you were talking about it, I actually realized I earned a lot in my 20s. I was blessed with a good job.
Yeah.
But I could have done more with
You
that
could have
money.
done a lot more.
With that money. Yeah. It is key for you to invest. So when you earn, you're actively engaging. You have to teach to earn. The teachers go and teach schools, they earn. The nurses go and do what they need to do, they earn. You're actively engaging to earn, or you're farming. You're actually farming your onions and what did you call the other crops that come and
companion crops.
Companion crops. You're actually actively engaging to earn. The reality is that you will not always have the right energy to keep doing that active earning. The reason why you invest as early as you can is so that you move your income from being active income to passive income.
Yeah.
So you earn from your active engagement, then you save most of what you're earning, and you invest it well in a place where it starts earning while you're sleeping. That money where you're putting it is actually earning as you sleep.
So your money is working for you.
Your money starts working for you. The sooner, if I could go back in time, I would have given myself a target of early 30s to ensure that my passive income was significantly, either the equal to or significantly more, greater than my active income.
Yeah.
And when you then get this passive income, now money is coming and you're earning it as you sleep. What happens is that you're free to actually see that number 2 question. The purpose that you are here for. Because you're not in that routine and monotony of figuring out how to make money.
Yeah.
Now you're free, the money is there. And then you start discovering yourself and asking, why am I here?
Yeah.
And then you start responding to such questions.
It's interesting when you say that, because I had this conversation with my son just yesterday, and I was saying, when you're in your 20s, you have money, you don't even know it's a lot of money, because you're feeling broke. Yeah. How many people feel broke? Yeah. But you're actually very rich.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, you're actually very rich. It's just that you don't know. And let me tell you why you're rich. Can I tell you why you're rich? Tell us. The reason I say you're very rich is because for me, when I have money, for Dolly, when she has money, the first thing I have to think about is I have a wife and I have 3 children to support.
Yeah.
How many wives do you have? How many children do you have? 0. Which means all the money you have is yours. So when you, as life goes on, you're actually going to find your responsibilities increase. When you're young, any money, even if it's little, you're the only one who it's for.
Absolutely.
Which then means you have capacity. And what I was telling my son is, as it comes, stop thinking about your shoe, about buying a bike. Start thinking about long term. Because guess what's going to happen? When you're young, you start saving money, put a Kachum's account and start putting a goal. You know those accounts that you lock up and you can't get your money back. And you put the money there, and every month maybe you're only able to put 500 or maybe 1,000. Some of you have started working, maybe you can even put 5,000. But guess what? A time will come when you find you have 60,000.
Yeah.
You have 70,000. And then at that point, you can become an investor. Because when you have very little money, you can't really invest much.
Absolutely.
With 70,000, you can even say, I'm going to look for a plot of land.
Yeah.
I'm going to invest in some shares. I'm going to invest in something that grows my money. And you know, that's what we did with my wife, is when we were in our early 30s, when we started learning how to invest, we took the money we had, bought a plot of land in Rongai, I remember.
Yeah.
And eventually what happened is, when we were ready to buy our first house, unasikia nimesema fast. Because even you are going to have many houses in Jesus' name, yeah?
Amen.
When we were ready to buy our first house, guess where we got the money? We sold the plot. The plot that we had saved, the money we had saved in college, and we bought a plot, the plot was appreciating. And by the time we were ready to buy our first apartment, we sold the plot, we took that money to the bank, and we were able to get an apartment that we would never have been able to afford. It would have taken us years to pay it off. But we were able to buy it almost for cash, simply because we had an investment. And slowly, that's what we've done over time. And what Miss Dolly is saying is, a time will come when the money in your investments is enough to pay you. And then you can be like Pastor M, who works full-time for Mavuno Church without a salary, because he doesn't need to work. His investments are working while he's serving Jesus. Now, is somebody understanding? When I say that I work for free, it's not that I'm broke.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody, the lights are coming on now. You're beginning to understand what it means that I can work for free. What it means that Miss Dolly can actually say, I don't need to go to work. I'll come and teach people in Mavuno Church.
Yeah.
It's because she knows her job at Oracle is her contribution. It's not Oracle that hired her. She's the one that has hired them. Because they fit her goals. The minute they stop, I can speak for her because she's a very good friend. The minute they stop fitting her goals, she will tell them, I have now fired you. I'm going now to a place that fits my goals better.
Yeah.
That is how God wants you to be. At a place where you don't need your job needs you. Come on, somebody. So that's why you start early. Because what you have when you're young is time.
Yeah.
The thing that you have that I don't have is time. If you and I are investing, and you start now, and I'm starting in my 50s, it's impossible for me to compete with you. Because you have something I don't have. You have time. So don't wait until you're 40 to start investing, or 30. Start when you're young, because then your one advantage you have as a young person is time. Come on, somebody.
Amazing.
And then the last question about how to know what you don't know. Miss Dolly talked about the fact that part of it is, as you build your financial capital, you have stability.
Yeah.
But also I believe that the thing about building your intellectual capital, being curious.
Yeah.
Don't ever lock yourself and say, I'm studying accounts, so this thing has nothing to do with accounts. Canva is for guys who are doing graphics. No. Learn any skill you can. Any opportunity you have to learn is a great opportunity. Some of you are serving as counselors in the camp. You're here to be facilitators. That's a skill you're learning. You may think you're just helping the church, but you're actually learning skills, human skills, relational skills that will actually help you in your career. Some of you are helping, you're contributing, teaching teaching MK on Sundays. What you don't understand is you're learning generational skills, multi-generational skills that can actually become very valuable in your life. So one of the ways to learn what you don't know, expose yourself. Never put yourself in a box and say, I only learn this. Learn anything that comes. Any opportunity is a learning opportunity. Yeah. Amen?
Amen.
Wow. Come on.
Wow, guys, come on, let's stand up and just appreciate Pastor M and Dolly. Come on, let's do it. Who is that still sitting? Take some water and pour on them. Why are they still sitting? How are you feeling? Oh, come on, guys, you can do better than that. How are you feeling? Okay, come on, let's appreciate them one more time. That was some really, really good teaching. How many capitals have you learned about? 5 capitals. I think there's a question there that were given for, we didn't sort of get into it, but what we can do over lunch is that I want you to have a conversation with someone either of the same color or someone from your campus, and I want you to be able to discuss with them and ask them, of the 5 capitals, which one are you doing very well in, and which one do you need to start working on? Are we together? And so go ahead, over lunch, I want you to be able to discuss with someone else, and so that you can be able to know which capital are you doing well in, which one do you need to go ahead and improve. Now, I want to send us out for lunch. It's just about 1:39, in a couple of minutes to be 1:40, and our lunch is for exactly 45 minutes. So by, someone from Alliance, tell me the time. 2:25. So by 2:25 we should be back, because you guys are not ready for the afternoon session. Guys on this side, you're not ready for the afternoon session. Are you ready? So we're gonna be having Pastor Bonnie from Harvest Family. And I'm really, really looking forward to that. I have told you guys, their team cannot out engage us. Shall we allow? We shall not allow. Shall we allow? No, you say we shall not allow. Shall we allow? Shall we allow other people to come and enjoy our church better than us? As he talks, will you come forward? Or do it now? As means about Pastor Bonnie teaching. Guys, I understand it. Are you coming forward? Come forward, come forward, come forward. Hey, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to enjoy. Are you going to enjoy? Are you going to walk in? Why are people sitting at the back? Let's look at them and pour some water on them. Anyway, let's give it up also, because right here we have Pastor Ken from City of Transformation Church, and he's a youth pastor. Come on, let's celebrate Pastor Ken. Karibu sana to Hill City Campus. We are glad that you are here. For now, lunch is blessed. See you at 2:25 p.m. Thank you all. See you then.